Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork Noodles. Another week has gone by and we are at another episode of the Blue Period. I am a little confused because I think episode 4 might be coming out in 4 days, so I will have to double check that. Schedule may be a little bit bumpy for a bit. I think episode 1 has dropped for everyone now. I'm a bit confused at what's going on. If you want to stay tuned on what happens on the channel, make sure you guys are subscribed because you get notified whenever videos drop. So there may be another drop for Blue Period this week as well, so keep your eyes peeled. There is a Discord channel too that will give you notifications straight to your phone whenever I post anything. Let's get straight to it, and of course I want to give a quick nod to how creative the OP is. I don't think I've mentioned the OP enough, but the OP itself is very, very artistic, and I think it changes. I remember mentioning the logo last week, but it's just a very creative use, and again, it sets up the anime in general, the idea of art and how artistic they can get with their OP. We're now attending cram school for a little bit, so we have some new faces this week, which are the faces I saw on a lot of the promo stuff, so it's good to see these characters are finally here. And we're back to drawing the statues. We've got a bit more still life going on, but this time it's sculptures. Yaguchi's work really does feel like it has improved by miles though, and this is still big kudos. If anyone could improve artwork-wise in 6 months like this, you would definitely be proud of yourself. A huge thank you to the comment last week as well. I for the life of me cannot remember the name right now, that informed me that the mangaka of the piece actually attended the university that Yaguchi is aiming for, so which makes it feel a little bit more special, and it makes you also wonder whether some of the content might be own personal experiences, so it's got a bit of a personal flair to it, and a lot of this stuff that we're seeing feels real. It really feels like it's happened, and it feels real life art struggles. I love it. It's great. This anime is very realistic, and this is my nostalgia anime. For some reason, this anime is really jogging nostalgia for me. Perhaps it's because I took art myself. Perhaps it's been a very long time since I studied art. But the picture he draws of his sculpture is absolutely gorgeous. I love the depth that he's got going on, the depth of field. Really like it. Oddly enough, the teacher does pick up that they might start drawing their own faces as opposed to what they see in front of them. But I am very impressed with Yaguchi's ability to catch up quite quick. He's very good at, like, as he says, imitation. He's very good at learning and imitating. Everyone starts somewhere, and I think imitating is where most people start. You start imitating the things around you. When it comes to the evaluation section, the black background for Kanawa is credited. And I was always taught that, especially if you're drawing a face and a portrait, adding some kind of background, any kind of background, apparently improves the quality and the overall finish by miles. You give it a setting, even if it's just a little bit of a shading here and there. It's just a setting. So I was told that backgrounds add mega kudos to your pictures. Now we end up with the sketch that ends up stunning an entire class into silence this week, where we are faced with a natural talent. Somebody who just can draw, even if it is their first time drawing anything. And we already know there's people like that in the world. There are natural geniuses in the world. An amazing line from Yuka this week is, "You can't compare yourself to gods," which I really like this line, because you really can't compare yourself to somebody who is a natural talent, because you're never going to see the positives in your own work, and you might end up hampering your own progress. Start feeling more and more down and crap about your own work, that it might end up showing in your art. I'm a firm believer that the way you feel will influence what you draw. There are some days I draw like amazing, and then other days I wake up and I can't even draw a face or a potato. I really do believe that the way you feel inside, the way you feel when you face that canvas, really influences what ends up on that canvas at the end. So that is what I think and what I have gleaned from the comment that Yuka passes. But it is sad to see Yaguchi feeling a bit crap, despite the fact that he actually got a good review. He didn't have a bad review. It was a pretty standard review, but he ends up feeling rubbish because he's comparing himself to others, which is very natural. It's very easy to do. Yuka's personality this week probably being the highlight of the more realistic aspects, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Definitely shining this week. I also like the fact that Yuka seems to be more and more supportive of Yaguchi recently. So we've had a lot more praise going Yaguchi's way, especially with the line that you can't compare yourself to gods. I think that line was said to actually comfort in a way of Yaguchi and try and be supportive in Yuka's own way. But we are about to have one of the first reality slaps for this week, and that is Yaguchi hearing that he basically, the way he is right now, he definitely won't be getting into any university. And it's because he is imitating. And apparently he is lacking the personality and the flair. And his paintings are essentially just straight. He's just painting what he sees. He's not adding any feeling to it. He's not adding any composition or style or anything. Oba, our new teacher, I love the art teachers. I think the art teachers are perhaps one of the best things in this anime for me. They feel real, they feel supportive, they feel lively, they feel creative. And in a sense, I would not be surprised if the art tutors were actually based off of the mangaka's actual experience with art tutors, and I wonder if they're based off of real people. But the advice that she gives is solid. I really think it is solid. It's you need to find what it is that you like. You know, the only way you can do this really is by looking at other people's work. So go to an art museum. It has been a very long time since I've been to an art museum. We end up hanging out with Haruka and our natural born genius. Haruka's actual strong point is composition, and it's the composition that he comes up with. The exploding pomegranate is fantastic. I like that piece. He has pigtails. The pigtails are cool because, as he says, it shows how serious I am. And I actually think Haruka's art, in a sense, is he's not serious, but it shows in the way that his art is freestyling. It looks free, it's carefree. I like that style about it. He knows how to compose a piece and he mocks it. So I think he calls it surreal as it explodes, because that is a surreal piece, because pomegranates don't explode every single day. The art trip is really, really nice. The comparison to food is quite an interesting one too. Even if a piece doesn't look great, you love it because it's made with love. And the thing I can think about here is the piece that he draws for his mother from behind of her working hard. It's not a great piece, it's not a masterpiece, but she is moved to tears because it's come from somebody who she loves. It's come from her son, and this is perhaps the most important piece of art to her. Guessing the price of the artwork is not a fun one, and it is staggering. Paintings are very, very expensive. I mean, millions and millions. There's money you can't even imagine. That's the game I don't want to play. Yaguchi has a little bit of inspiration in his time at the art museum. He decides that you can actually break down artwork. You can choose pieces that you like or bits that you like within a painting. You don't have to like the painting as a whole, but there might be something like the composition or the colour that you end up enjoying. Which leads us to Yaguchi feeling more and more inspired, where we go into the second reality slap, and perhaps the most realist section is Yuka. And I did the horrible thing of calling Yuka a her in the first episode, and I really do want to apologise for that, because I made a judgment. I prejudged somebody who I didn't have enough information on. Again, I think it was the same person actually, so kudos to you. Thank you so much for raising this one with me, because this is a bad one on me. Yuka is actually born a male who enjoys wearing female clothing. I don't quite know the pronouns right now, because Yaguchi still uses he and him. I'm not sure what Yuka would prefer. So until I have a more solid basis on what Yuka would prefer to be known as, I'm going to still try and use they, them, and all of the more gender neutral terms, because I don't really want to hurt anybody. And I think even with the Morigati the Patriot thing, if you were watching those, with Bond, I decided to go with how Bond wanted to be seen, and Bond wanted to be seen as a male thereon. I'm going to try and be gender neutral with it, but this is a very real scene, and I think it's perhaps the most real scene we've seen so far, because this is something that is going on every single day. I want to make sure that I am making everybody feel comfortable. But this is a very real battle, and seeing Yuka in tears and just wanting to be accepted for Yuka. Yuka wants to be seen for Yuka, wants to be loved for Yuka. This is a very powerful scene. We've had quite a few powerful scenes. This anime is actually quite good at drawing on real topics, and that's a massive kudos, because Yuka doesn't fit in. And it's this feeling of not being able to fit in anywhere that really makes you feel for the character. If you do actually know the official pronouns, please do let me know so I can get to making sure I have that correct. But let's go back to Yaguchi and not really understanding what it is he still likes. So Yaguchi's art ends up confusing the art tutor. He hasn't really figured out exactly what it is he was trying to achieve. So the picture ends up coming across as convoluted. It's confusing as well, because again, Yaguchi was confused whilst painting it because he doesn't quite understand what it is he still likes. Where we get another slap in the face that competition is now approaching quite quickly, and Yaguchi starts to feel the pressure, really feels the pressure and really hits the book, because he understands, I really need to learn how to do composition really quick. The girl with a pearl earring does make an appearance this week. I am so happy. This is another chance for me to show off my piece, the piece that I also based upon the girl with the pearl earring. So here's me again as the modern day version of the Girl of the Pear Earring. I really enjoyed doing this. It was fun. I really enjoyed this. Here was my imitation of art, I guess, and I tried to add a bit more of my own flavour to it. Art is one of those very subjective topics. Seeing the art tutor passing opinions and stuff, I sometimes don't feel like I agree. Some of the pieces that were praised today, I wasn't overly keen on. And there's other pieces that I really liked which were put down. But that is meant to be showing that art really is, it depends who's looking at it. Art is in the eye of the beholder, which is why I think the advice that you have to find what it is you like really is perhaps the most solid piece of advice you've had so far for finding your way in art is, what do you like to do? What do you like to achieve? What is it that you like in a painting that you should start putting and finding your own style? Yaguchi cannot work out what he's missing. He's getting closer, he's got this drive to learn, but he's still missing something. He's missing an element from his paintings. And that is where our natural born genius comes in and helps. Imitation. When you imitate, you are only seeing the surface level. You're mimicking what you can see. You're missing the very essence or core and heart that drove the artist to paint in the first place, the actual heart of the piece. When Yaguchi drew the blue painting, he wanted to convey his feelings, and that painting ended up conveying feelings and actually getting quite a bit of praise. Yaguchi right now is trying to focus on getting all the basics down. He's, in a sense, moved away from what it is that is art, and that is conveying a feeling, a question or an answer, as the art tutor would say. Another really good episode of Blue Period, and another really real episode. Blue Period is hitting me as more of a very real anime, an anime which deals with very real topics, and we've had 2 very heavy topics come up in these last few episodes, and I'm enjoying it. I will have to get back to you guys about when episode 4 comes out. Apparently it's 4 days, but we will find out, so you may actually be treated to 2 breakdowns this week for Blue Period. Very happy to do it anyway. I'm really enjoying this one. I was really worried that I wouldn't enjoy this anime. I am pleasantly surprised, and I can't wait to see where the anime goes next. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay creative, and bye-bye, guys.